Hi, Jake. Hard luck there. It seemed like the guys really found their mojo again. That was a Bulls team that we know how they can play like last season, but just couldn't pull it through in the end.
Yeah, Ashok, I mean, that's what I said downstairs. I mean, I thought we played really well. I don't think the scoreline is a true reflection of the way we played. Um, but it seems to be one of those seasons where, we just do all the hard work and we just can't seem to get over the last hurdle.
Some match officials, the decisions from them, particularly the one with the team, got involved and had a penalty overturned. That seemed quite strange. What did you think of that? And the yellow card, of course.
Yeah, Ashok, look, I mean, I think they clean outs like that all over the game, so I don't even think it was a penalty. But, I mean, I often wonder if their number 10 hadn't laid down on the ground, whether that would have been looked for. So, yeah, I mean, obviously it's something we're going to have to look at going forward because what we don't want is every time a player gets cleaned out that he lies down and makes the TMO look and review things. So, yeah, I mean, it's something we've got to be careful of because I know it happened in football, and then all of a sudden they brought in something where if you dive, you get sent off as well. So, yeah, maybe who knows? Maybe in rugby because it's such a fine line now between yellow cards, red cards, and TMO involvements. That we're not going to get players trying to use every opportunity to influence the TMO.
But as we all know, away games of 50-50 calls tend to go against you. I guess you also have to find ways to get around it. Yeah, just in the second half, perhaps I thought first half guys really held on to the ball well, but perhaps second half there wasn't enough opportunities to get Kirtley and Kanan involved a bit more.
Ashok, I mean, the bottom line is you saw what happened. The first half we got quite a lot of opportunities. Second half we started in the first 2 minutes yellow card against us and 7 points. So literally went from having an 8 point lead into the tunnel, and when we came out 2 minutes later we had 1 point lead and 14 men. So I think there's no doubt that people often talk about a game of two halves, and that was a game of two halves.
But there must have been quite a lot of positives for you to take out of this performance going into to lose. Obviously, Kirtley and Kanan were
Yeah, I mean, I
excellent.
think at the end of
Also,
the run,
the forwards got stuck in.
yeah, look, I mean, after the running we've had now, Ashfaq, I mean, we haven't won for a while, and we obviously the confidence is a bit low. But I mean, there are positives. I thought, like you said, we played really well at times. There were moments there when you just saw the involvements of Kirtley and Kanan, guys we haven't had in the system for a long time. You saw how important they are to our attack as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's obviously a difficult one. It tests everybody, coaches and players. But the couple of results went our way today as well, which obviously still keeps us alive. And we've got two games at home, so we've got to make sure now, we can, as I said, not replicate that result, but replicate some of that performance and then get over the last hurdle.
Must have been really pleased with the forwards' effort, Jake. That Mongrel seemed to be back, that physicality and the physical ball carries as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, as I said, the beginning were nice and direct. We went through them a few times. Yeah, as I said, and then our forwards played really well especially in the 22 there. I think the one time we kept the ball for about 20 phases and we scored. So a lot of effort and I suppose, grunt is what we've been looking for. And so I can't fault anything that they did tonight. I mean, obviously, one or two scrum penalties. We gave them entries into our 22. I mean, that Ulster team. They know how to score tries when they get 5 yards from your try line. I mean, they're doing that successfully against everybody. So, it's easy to talk about how do you stop their maul, but if they've got such a good maul and they're successful like they are, not only against us, against everybody, we just probably had to be a little bit, I suppose, a little bit more aware of not giving some penalties, which we did at crucial times. I mean, there were, often people talk about momentum changing. I think there were a couple of times where we were maybe just looking like we'd change the momentum and we'd get them another entry into our 22.
Jake, I saw Kirtley's left knee was wrapped up a bit. Is he okay for next week?
Yeah, he'll be fine. I think, again, he just said he had a bit of a lummy on his leg. I left him on for as long as I can because I think that he's one guy who could have scored a 60-meter try. And obviously, at that point in time, we were 6 points behind. So, it was a bit of a risk, but I just thought the game needed him as long as possible because I always had a feeling that maybe this would be the game where we would score in the last play of the game unlike what's happened in the last couple of weeks.
Just finally, Jake, I know it's another defeat, and you said before you really want to win from this game, but do you have belief and a bit more confidence now for Toulouse?
Yeah, look, I mean, as fact, I mean, you guys know rugby. I mean, I coached in France. It doesn't get any tougher. And generally, people use that phrase quite often, but it doesn't get any tougher than playing Toulouse in a knockout game in Toulouse. I mean, if you look at the Heineken Cup, or the EPCR as it's called now, I mean, historically, that's one of the strongest sort of home beds of European rugby. So, you know, it's going to be a massive task for us, and it's going to be a opportunity for us to measure ourselves against some of the best players in the world. So, you know, basically, there's no use, lagging on things that we can't change. We can only move forward. So, you know, I said earlier to someone, there's a great test, even on my coaching. I've been coaching for a long time, and it's a great test for us as a group, and great test for me as a coach as well, because, you know, these young guys have obviously done really well in the last couple of years, but they're in a place they haven't been for a while. So it's going to be, you know, as I said, it's going to be a great learning thing for all of us to see how we can get it right.
And no other injuries, eh?
No. I just think, as I said, a couple of guys with bumps and bruises. I think Marco van Staren, he just limped off as well. I think he got a bit of a contusion on his leg as well. But yeah, I mean, nothing. I don't think anything serious.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jake, man, and safe travels to France, and good luck.
Thanks, Ashok. Thank you.
Cheers.